Hello there, you all. Welcome to this tutorial. And so in this video we're going to be continuing with our series on conditional formatting, which is under the Excel for data analysis series. So we are going to be looking at color scales and icon sets. Now if this is the first video you are watching in the conditional formatting series, please I will advise that you pause it at this point and probably watch previous videos on conditional formatting. Now you may want to go straight to the very beginning where I looked at the definition and the types, and then we also learned how to highlight cells based on some rules and how to highlight cells based on some formulas. We also looked at how to highlight cells, the top and bottom values of some certain cells. We also looked at how we can find duplicate values and highlight them also. And I think in the last video we looked at data bars, how we can use data bars to analyze a range of cells. Okay, so today we are going to be going straight to color scales, and we will be seeing how we can apply color scales in conditional formatting. Just a recap, conditional formatting says if a particular value meets a particular condition, then it will be highlighted accordingly or something will happen. So that's the conditional formatting. It's going to be formatted accordingly. All right, so color scales, what do color scales actually do? Now from the name we have color and then we have scales. In other words, we will have a range of I don't want to use the word different range, I would rather say different shades of a particular color and different values for those different shades. Okay, now we can have 3 colors and then different values for the different shades of those 3 colors. Okay, so let me say I want to apply color scales on this column where we have the price of dairy for all the countries and their regions. Now what it's going to do is, let me say I just want to I want the highest price to be deep red and the lowest price to be white. So what Excel will do is it's going to figure out the highest price and the lowest price, assign them the deep red for the highest and lowest white for the lowest, and then every other value in between it places it more like on a color wheel. I don't want to use that, but like a color wheel of those colors, like a spectrum of that color. So every other color will fall into it, the varying thickness of that color. Every other value rather will fall into the varying thickness of that color. Well, enough of the explanation. Let's look at what it looks like. Okay, so to apply color scales, you select the row you want to apply it, click on conditional formatting. Remember, you have to be in your home tab, and then in your styles group you click on conditional formatting. Now this is color scales here. This first one is 3 colors. Green is for the highest number, yellow after that, and red after that. But let's for explanation's sake, let's start with just 2 colors. So this particular one here is saying red for the highest number and white for the least. Okay, so I select that and this is what it gives me. The highest value will be very deep red, which is the 70,000 here. So let's just select that. So that will be the highest value. Now compare it with this other one, 10,000 here, which is the least value. It's actually just plain white and this is deep red. Now on that spectrum, on that range, every other color is fitted in, or every other shade of red is fitted in based on the value. Now the next to 70,000, I want to think it is 65, so it will have a color just a little lighter than 70, and next to 65 will be 63,500, just a shade a little brighter. Remember, we are saying from deepest to brightest, so it's going to go increasingly brighter. However, if we are saying from brightest to deepest, then it's going to just get darker and darker till the least, which will be the darkest. All right, so that is that. Now how those 3 colors something is wrong here. Just give me a minute, let me fix it. I formatted it earlier on, I didn't remember to undo it. Okay, now how do we use 3 colors? So let me select the produce column and show us how we can use 3 colors for conditional formatting on a color scale. Now this first one says green will go to the highest number and it will begin to fade into yellow. Yellow will be for the median numbers, I want to use that word, and then the least numbers will be red. So the color scale will flow from deep green into yellow and then to maximum yellow and then flow into what is the last one now? Red will be the least. Yes, so let me select that and then we'll see what kind of effect it has here. So look at this. Remember the first one is green, so the deepest green we have here is our 73,000 because that's the highest value. Next to it, I think it is this 70,000, and then you have 65, 60, 58, and so on and so forth. Now it as the numbers begin to diminish or reduce, the green begins to fade and begins to overlap with yellow, I would say, until we now have entirely yellow from like this 38,000, 39,000, I mean. It is now a little yellow and greenish, and then here it is yellow, blah blah blah, and then it begins to fade into red, just like you have in this 32,000 here, where you have it fading into red, and so on till you have the brightest red, which is the least number. So that's how 3 colors work. Now what is the advantage, what is the need for this? So that you can just see your values at a glance. In this, where we have the 2 colors, you can say, okay, the highest value is the deepest, the smallest value is the lightest. Where you have your 3 colors, you can say, okay, the highest value is the green, the middle, the median number may be the brightest yellow, and the least number will be the brightest red. Just like that. So it spreads it out on different shades of that color. Now, if I want to have more control of what I do with my color scale, I may want to just define the rules myself instead of choosing templates, excuse me. So I select the entire row for this conditional formatting scale. So instead of choosing any of these, I may not really have much control over it. I will just be stuck with whatever it gives me. I will click on more rules, and then here it says format all cells based on their values. That's where I'm going to have it. And then these are the rules I am going to try and manipulate. So just give me what I want. So I can click on this drop down and it is going to show me different things. We're not looking at data bars now, we've looked at that. Icon sets will be in the next video. So I just need it to be 2 colors, so a 2 color scale. So now it's asking me the lowest number, what do you have, what color do you want it to be? So I can just say fine, let my lowest color number be a bright number. My lowest number, let it have the color, a bright color. And then my highest number, okay, sorry about that, the color for my highest number, I want it to be a very deep color. So can you see the scale? It's giving me a preview now. It's saying I'm going to spread all values on this scale of colors, on this range of colors. So the lowest value is going to be very bright, kinda, not really very bright. Okay, let me make it something very catchy. Okay, I like that. And then whatever is the opposite, which is going to be the highest number, will be very, very dark. So I say okay, and that is what I have. All right, just for clarity, let me switch this to white so that I can see the numbers that are inside. All right, so the contrast is much better now. It's just that I can't see this guy very well because it is very bright. However, just make sure you select colors that will not swallow. Let's adjust that. That will not swallow up your font or your value that you entered there. So let me manage the rules. So I want to edit the rules. Okay, what did I just do? I am not very satisfied with what happened here. So instead of undoing the entire rules and starting it all over again, I can just come here after selecting the range of cells and click on manage cells and then manage rules, sorry, and then edit rule. Now it brings me back here. I can decide to just make this something that can contrast very well with white, and then I click and then I say okay. I can apply first. Now this is much better. All right, this is much better. So my deepest value, or the deepest color here, will represent the highest value down to the faintest which will represent the least value. All right, so that will be all for color scales. You can just try it out, try several things out and see how it works out for you. Now, you may not necessarily just focus on the numbers. You may want to use percentage basis. For example, you are saying, okay, yes, these numbers are here, but I want Excel to color them according to the percentage of the total. Will it be percentage of the total or the percentage of the highest number? Percentage of the total, I want to believe. So no, not percentage of the total, percentage of the highest number. Well, let's find out what that will be. So we will come to color scales. I'll say more rules, and I want a percentage, so lowest percent, and then I'm switching this to highest percent. So let me use this, and then the other deep color I used the last time, I want it to be this contrasting, and then I say okay, and then that is it. Okay, so every number will be a percentage. It's going to spread them. Yeah, that's what it is. It's going to spread them on like a spectrum. The least number will be like a 0, the highest number will be like 100%. Then every other number will find their place in between. All right, so that's what it's going to look like the least number now is going to be like more like a 0%. That's why it has this color. Let's look at that rule again so that I will explain it. Let's manage the rules, and so look, edit rules. So look at it. The least number is actually the 0% value, while the highest number is the 100% value. Every other number will fall in, will find their percentage in between. Okay, so that is how we apply this. So the range between the least number to the highest number will be divided by 100. That is what it means. Yeah, so highest number minus lowest number divided by 100, then every other number approximately we find their value somewhere. It's a little complex, don't mind, but it's cool. So you can also format this according to percentages, and then don't forget, this is not the font color is not very contrasting, so you may want to use white. Beautiful. So that makes it very presentable. All right, that's where I'm going to stop this video. The next video I'm going to be looking at icon sets, and we'll be looking at how to use that to show trends and some other things. All right, that will be all for now. Have a wonderful day. See you in the next video. Bye.